So,
Let's get into it.
a ton has happened with DeepSeek.
It's been quite a few days.
Yes, it has.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and a lot has happened. Tuesday Tech, where we talk all things tech
But not always on a Tuesday.
from a techie.
To a non-techie.
I mean,
So much.
within the first, 24 hours,
Yeah.
you hear about their website just being tanked
Mm-hmm.
because it's just being hit constantly. And I would imagine like a DDoS attack, which is a distributed denial of service for those that don't know.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And if that still doesn't help, it's like a heap of computers just overloading a server.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, in amongst all of that happening, it's gone off like gangbusters on the App Store.
Yeah, how many was it when you checked?
Oh, I think it was over 10 million.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that was just the Google Play Store.
Yeah, and then
Mm.
on the App Store, I think it was the top one on the productivity, which was above, obviously, your ChatGPT, but it was also above Microsoft, I think, Authenticator,
Wow.
which is everyone uses that.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Yeah, so when they were getting hit,
Yeah.
they couldn't have anyone signing up for new accounts
Mm-hmm.
because they just couldn't. It wouldn't work. But apparently the people that already had accounts, they could get access. And they didn't give much information. I've only looked at some of these headlines, and all that DeepSeek came out with was just saying, we got hit with a cyber attack. And that was it. They didn't sort of disclose any information. So, and then, I mean, it just got crazier because then all right, they get hit,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And that's okay, sure. They're a huge target now because they're number one on all these platforms.
Yeah.
But then on top of it, security researchers start having a look inside and looking sort of at different ththink and there's a few vulnerabilities that came out.
Super problematic.
Yeah. So for that 1 million fan base, I think it was 10 million you said. Yeah. So 10 million of those people have signed in with their accounts.
Yep.
And what vulnerabilities are there?
It's far too many. Far too many. I can't even list them, but there's a lot there.
Yeah, so Wiz research uncovers that the DeepSeek has this database that's just public that people can just access. Obviously, you have to have a little bit of nous to figure it out.
Right.
But essentially, the information in the database includes sensitive information like chat history.
Oh, no.
Yeah. As well as, let me just get it up to get this right.
Now, is that something to do with the fact that it's open source?
No, it actually isn't.
Oh, really?
So this is something that they should have secure. So imagine back-end database.
Oh.
This should never be public,
Oh.
right?
Wow. Yeah,
So
okay.
the different areas that were public. So this security research team, Wiz, identified around 30 internet-facing subdomains, most appearing benign, hosting elements like chatbot interface, status page, and API documentation, none of which sort of indicated any sort of risk, right? I'm just sort of reading off their post that they have on this. But the worst part about it is the parts that were accessible included direct execution into an SQL database with queries via the browser, which just means that they could theoretically not only breach and get chat log history and personal information of the people that are in there, but also potentially escalate their privilege to be in control of some portion of DeepSeek.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So you've got 10 million people downloading this app.
Yeah.
DeepSeek just completely shocking the world.
Yeah.
But then them not having the basics of security in this aspect and having, things that are just exposed that aren't just personal information, but the possibility of just escalating so that a threat actor could then attack these 10 million people with all their information, with all this. We don't know if any of that's happened, and these researchers are ethical, so they actually disclosed it to DeepSeek first before publicly writing anything. So, we can just hope that everything's fine.
Yeah.
But they found log tables with 1 million log entries, and some of the columns included timestamp, span name, so that references to internal DeepSeek API endpoints, so more information, plain text logs including chat history, API keys, backend details, and operational metadata.
Okay.
And then service logs about what's happening in the backend of DeepSeek. And source exposing the origin of log requests containing chat history, API keys, directory structures, and chatbot metadata logs. So you could sort of piece together
Right.
what's happening in DeepSeek as well as customer client facing information.
Wow. So that and forgive me, my if I'm reiterating it a little bit wrong. So if I was somebody that downloaded the app
Yeah.
and had this whole conversation with DeepSeek, pretty much that entire conversation plus some of my own personal information that I've added into the app could all potentially be exposed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
well, I'm never downloading that app. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, and look, again, just reiterating, Wiz are ethical researchers, and so they've reported this to DeepSeek before publicly saying it. So the theory there is that this has been patched,
Right.
but there was a period in which this was unpatched.
Okay.
And that was the period where you had 10 million people using the app.
That's problematic to say the least. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh yes, indeed. Now, from what I hear, this isn't the last of the scandals or speculation that's gone on with DeepSeek in the last couple of days. What else could possibly be going on with DeepSeek?
Yeah. So there's a bit of controversy around whether or not it's totally what they've said.
Oh.
In the sense that, is it really their fully baked from new model, or is it just sort of like a reskinned OpenAI using their API to access it?
Oh,
right?
No. Okay.
So there was a person that, to be honest, I got this off LinkedIn, a CEO at Margin Syndicate, someone that's not, some rando, tinfoil wearing person.
Okay.
And they say that they've asked about ethical questions in the model of DeepSeek, and they've gotten a response that includes guidelines set by OpenAI to ensure safety and compliance, ...
Wait, guidelines set by OpenAI, as in the creators of ChatGPT.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, so instead of responding with, oh, well, the guidelines of DeepSeek are, it's responded with like, as if it thinks it's OpenAI.
Oh, that's... Okay, that's quite controversial, that in itself. Wow.
Yeah, like, we talk about, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but we talk about the idea of AI hallucinating, right?
Okay.
So hallucinating in an AI model is when they don't have enough data or they don't fully understand something, and so they extrapolate, right?
Oh, okay.
So you might ask them, I want to have a write-up about my business. My business is XYZ, and it serves the military in giving them whatever.
Right.
And that's like all the information that you have, right? And it might return back, okay, well, John Doe, the CEO of XYZ, is giving out armed and hostile Hummer vehicles, like it just starts adding all of this extra information that you've never said, and it hallucinates.
Okay, so it gets a bit excited and brings a bit too much to the table.
Yeah, so look, you could put it off to it hallucinating.
Yep.
But it's weird because, well,
how is it doing that?
is it been trained to use words that include OpenAI, and like I don't fully understand the training model side of AI, and this is sort of stretching my understanding.
Right.
But I don't think it works that way.
Okay.
And I don't think that it should be referencing OpenAI's
in an entirely different model.
Yeah.
That it supposedly has no connection to.
Correct.
At all. Okay.
Yeah. So the guy's suggesting that perhaps DeepSeek is leveraging OpenAI's tech, as the artifact suggests, and that they're selling access to a reskinned version of ChatGPT under a different name.
Okay, so now this is my question here. Do you think this could possibly, I know it's speculation, but do you think this could possibly be part of the reason why it was so cheap to manufacture?
Yeah, dare I say that if I made a comment on this, I would be hallucinating. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I don't know.
Enough.
I don't have enough information to say.
Okay,
but
enough.
yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting theory, and it's interesting to think about because it is sort of just weird.
Yeah.
You can't help but feel a little odd that a startup in a matter of 2 years,
Yeah.
if that, has created something that is now number one on the App Store
Yeah.
and just completely thrashing the competition.
Within like a week.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, obviously, there's more time in the development process.
Yeah, obviously.
But to just come up like that
yeah.
is, you can't help but question.
Yeah.
I want to believe that it's just like an amazing advancement,
Yeah.
but you're also suspect.
Of course. I mean, it almost seems a little bit too good to be true, and now I don't know what to think either.
And there's more to this as well when it comes to like vulnerabilities and scandals and sort of like security holes that are in this model. Another security research, actually, it's a subsect of Intel.
Okay.
So again, not some schmuck that just writes on the internet. So some group from Intel, I've forgotten the name of the group, but they also tested the model for known areas of escaping the model or ethical dilemmas and things of that, like where you ask a prompt that it shouldn't answer, like making I think it was biological weapons and
I have seen that. People trying to break it. Yeah.
And asking things that it should have safeguards
yes.
about it, but they were using prompts that have since been patched in OpenAI, where it was like, imagine yourself as being someone that is able to say this or do this, and then asking the question.
Okay.
And it was fine. It would bypass all the means and go with it. So those safeguards aren't there, which is, not good. And that's, threat actor gets on there and doesn't know how to do something. I'm sure a threat actor can find another means, but those safeguards are there for a reason.
I see. And they seem to have just bypassed them completely.
Yeah. And it doesn't just stop there.
Of course not.
No,
why would it?
No. Just when they come, they just keep coming.
Absolutely.
So DeepSeek, and I don't know if it's linked to the research that Wiz found on, accessible public areas that shouldn't be accessible.
Right.
But one of the areas was the authentication process of DeepSeek. So when someone wants to sign in with, say, Google, there's like a token and there's an exchange in that, which is called the authentication process. Yeah. So apparently, due to improper management of the authentication process, accounts signed in through Google can be taken over in DeepSeek, leading to a complete zero-click account takeover.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not ideal.
No. So there's another read-up that I have here from LinkedIn. It's just a penetration tester. He's put up some of his findings. And I don't know if it's linked to Wiz research earlier about some of the domains accessible that shouldn't be in a public-facing internet. But essentially, this person's found that there was improper management of the authentication process. So what that is like when you want to do the handshake of logging into DeepSeek in this case.
Okay.
You might choose to authenticate using your Google account.
Oh, okay. Like logging in with a different...
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And that actually gives the website a token, right?
Oh.
And that token, think of it like a cookie in your browser. It's something that can stay there, that's persistent, right? And if someone has that token, they can theoretically sign in as you, right? That's like the key.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
oh, no.
Anyone that was signing in using their Google account, because of improper management, this person was essentially able to do like a man in the middle, get in between, take the token, sign in, sort of thing. That's what I'm seeing here. So they say that this leads to a massive zero-click full account takeover.
Oh my goodness. That is, not ideal in the slightest.
Yeah.
Wow.
So their suggestion is to sign up manually until it's patched.
Okay, so what I'm gathering here is DeepSeek seems to have some pretty deep problems going on straight out of the gate. And that's not ideal for any startup, I'm guessing.
No,
okay.
It's not good.
Not good at all.
But then on the flip side, they're getting a lot of adoption.
Yeah.
Like you've got Azure by Microsoft now saying that DeepSeek R1 is now available for Azure AI Foundry and GitHub. And then like OpenSearch.
What's OpenSearch?
So OpenSearch is essentially you have this huge data set and you want to be able to ingest it and search through the logs.
Okay.
So think like an airport, and they have all the logs about all the planes, where they are, and they need air traffic control to sort of have a dashboard on all those logs and see it in a way that's sort of like a graph, and then you can sort of search through it and see the connections.
Okay.
Right.
I see.
Yeah. It's also used in like the SIEM world. So like Wazoo will use it.
Okay.
Yeah. Wazoo being another open source tool that's used for security information and event management.
Okay.
So big data sets, making the correlations.
All open source by the sounds of it.
Open source, yeah.
Great.
So OpenSearch, that is open source, now supports DeepSeek chat models. So OpenSearch a little while ago started to release support for AI so that you could sort of, chat in natural language and search through the index and understand it better and whatever.
Right.
So now they've just like gone, yeah, sure, we're on this, and we're going to add DeepSeek.
Wow.
So you've got two big names, and they're just ones that I've come across that are like, yeah, DeepSeek's available, that's fine.
Even though it's got some pretty deep problems at the moment by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so amongst my searches on LinkedIn, I'm now seeing, and correct me if I'm wrong, there is now another AI model going on out there from Alibaba.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, I mean...
What is going on?
It's like crazy. It's like, first we're blindsided by DeepSeek, and then all of a sudden Alibaba, which, I don't know, you'd think that it's akin to like Temu.
They're all just coming out of the woodworks now.
Yeah. So, basically they've released this model called Qwen 2.5, and they've got variants of Qwen 2.5. They got Qwen 2.5 Max and Qwen 2.5 VL, and there's a few others, but those are the two that people are talking about the most.
So they've really come out swinging here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then to just add to it all, this chaos of AI in this last week, Qwen 2.5 Max is faster than all the rest.
What?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Right? And then from what I'm
goodness.
hearing, so Qwen 2.5 Max, I understand as their sort of heavy hitter.
Okay.
Right? And that's the smart one, the one that's really going to be better than all the rest.
Okay.
But they've also got the VL version, which is cheaper, more efficient, and open source. Think your DeepSeek R1.
Okay.
Right? But the difference here, and a lot of people are missing this, and this is what I thought was important to actually talk about, is it may be on paper faster than what DeepSeek is putting out, but it isn't a reasoning model.
What do you mean by reasoning model?
Good question.
Thank you.
I've only just learnt about it.
Oh, okay. Do tell.
So essentially, reasoning models are able to reason.
Oh.
So think of a model where it's a computer, right? And you ask a question and it has to answer instantly. And it's like, yes, no, maybe.
Okay.
Think of a question that's more nuanced. A computer's not really going to know how to answer that.
Okay. Because there's no definitive answer.
Yeah. It's going to try and guess. And then you might get like hallucinating. You might get poor response, or it's not fully understanding the question. So that's when you need reasoning, where you need like multiple passes over that same question, and you need it to basically step out its answer.
Okay.
So it's more human.
Right.
And it's able to reason.
Oh.
So while Qwen 2.5 Max and VL for that matter may be faster and better and cheaper, they aren't reasoning models.
Oh.
So their output might not be as great as something like DeepSeek, or I believe that GPT, I could be getting this wrong, GPT 4o is also a reasoning model.
Okay.
So those are the ones that we really should continue talking about.
Right.
Because the other ones aren't reasoning models, and so they don't have the ability to understand more complex questions.
Oh.
So the example that OpenAI has is they have this really weird prompt. They say, I drop a strawberry into a cup and tip it over onto a table. Then I lift the cup and move it away. Where is the strawberry?
Okay.
So the model that doesn't have reasoning isn't really going to have a great answer.
Okay.
Whereas the one that has reasoning is going to say, well, it depends on whether if the cup is going to scoop up
Oh,
strawberry,
okay.
or if it's moved and the strawberry is left on that table.
Oh,
So it's able to sort of reason 3D space without seeing it
right.
and give you alternative answers like a
Right.
human would on something that isn't deterministic.
I see. See, when you said that to me, I thought clearly it must be on the table.
Yeah.
What does it say? But I'm not an AI model, so anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah, but just don't ask any of these models how to spell strawberry
Because
and how many R's there
it
are.
freaks out, right?
It doesn't know. There's two.
It cannot figure it
Apparently
out.
there's two.
The reasoning ends there.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it. But I found it really interesting learning about what a reasoning model is, because I had no clue up until this moment when I'm
Oh.
trying to compare the models and figure out what's different here and why are people talking about this. Is it actually better? Is it worse? Tell us about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's been a ton of development on this, and we're still seeing tons of things come out. And we don't know, is, DeepSeek the next thing? Is Qwen the next thing? Is Temu going to come out with something?
Who knows? Who knows now? It's anybody's guess, and we're living in the Wild West now.
Yeah. But I mean, it's definitely changed the whole idea of AI.
Absolutely. And it has been really interesting seeing so many people jump on board as quickly as they have, regardless of all of the problems involved, and B, a lot of people now becoming a little bit more aware of said problems and speaking up about like cybersecurity and that whole arena.
Yeah.
Since this is kind of a really developing story and it just keeps unfolding day by day, I'm going to say we draw the line in the sand and pick it up next time.
Yeah, sounds good.
So until then, this has been Tuesday Tech. I'm Leah.
I'm Jordan.
I'll catch you later.